This is my final assignment for environment and philosophy. I will be focusing on reforestation efforts in Ohio, specifically led by the Division of Mineral Resources and Management. What is reforestation and why do we need it? Reforestation is the process of replanting trees in deforested or degraded lands to restore ecological balance. In Ohio, reforestation efforts focus on reclaiming land damaged by mining and returning it to a healthy forested state. So what is the problem? Ohio has a long history of coal mining, especially in the eastern and southeastern regions of the state. While mining has contributed to the economic growth and industrial growth, it also led to significant environmental degradation. One of the most pressing issues is deforestation in certain areas and land degradation caused by surface mining, which strips away vegetation, disrupts soil composition, and leaves behind barren, unstable land for the ecosystems. Without proper restoration, those areas remain ecologically damaged, leading to erosion, loss of biodiversity, and water pollution. Where is it occurring? The problem is most prevalent in Appalachian, Ohio, where surface mining, which includes the mountaintop removal and strip mining, has been a dominant industry for over a century. So counties like Perry, Athens, and Morgan have been heavily impacted. Large-scale mining in Ohio dates back to the 1800s, but the most severe environmental damage occurred during the 20th century with the expansion of industrial mining and different techniques. The problem persisted until regulations like the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act, or the SMCRA, of 1977 mandated better land restoration practices. However, many abandoned mine lands still require reforestation efforts today. The environmental degradation caused by mining in Ohio manifests through three interconnected crises that ripple across ecosystems and human communities as well. First off, soil compaction and acidity create a hostile environment where life struggles to rebound. Heavy mining equipment compresses the earth into dense, impermeable layers while exposed minerals react to form sulfuric acid, creating conditions where plant roots cannot penetrate and vital nutrients become chemically locked away from those plants. This damage extends below the surface as beneficial microbes crucial for decomposition and nutrient cycling perish in the harsh environment that mining created, effectively sterilizing the soil. The consequences extend to nearby human communities as well through increased erosion that washes away remaining fertile soil and leaves the land unsuitable for any agriculture or other productive uses. Equally devastating is the catastrophic loss of biodiversity that follows the deforestation from mining operations in Ohio. When mature forests disappear, entire ecosystems unravel. Keystone species like oak trees that vanish, taking with them the acorns. The acorns fed deer, turkeys, rodents, stuff like that starves then hawks and foxes and higher up the food chain. So it kind of goes all the way down. Pollinators lose both food sources and nesting sites, threatening the reproduction of remaining plants. The remaining patches of forests become isolated islands, which are too small to sustain viable wildlife populations, leading to local extinctions in the area. For Appalachian communities, this represents not just the ecological tragedy, but a cultural one, as traditions of hunting, foraging, and connection to their area and their land becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. Perhaps the most dangerous effect is the water contamination from runoff that plagues mine regions. So acidic runoff loaded with heavy metals like mercury and lead pours into streams, where that triggers toxic algae blooms and it poisons the water. Fish populations collapse as that water damages their gills and their reproductive systems, while toxins accumulate up the food chain as they eat. Downstream communities face contaminated drinking water linked to cancer clusters and neurological disorders, while municipalities spend millions on water treatment. The economic toll extends to lost fisheries and declining tourism, with the added injustice that these costs persist long after the mines themselves have closed. Barren soils, silent forests, and poisoned waters, all of those feed into and amplify each other in this vicious cycle. Compacted earth cannot support vegetation that might filter that runoff, allowing more toxins to reach the waterways. Dying streams provide less water for remaining forests to recover, and the absence of wildlife slows to return the nutrients to those damaged soils. This interconnected damage serves as both a warning and a challenge, demonstrating how profoundly human activity can disrupt this natural system. What is the significance of this issue? Why should the public or you even care? So reforestation is not just about planting trees, it's about a science-based long-term commitment to healing these damaged landscapes. So Ohio's efforts that show that even that land scarred by mining can recover with the right techniques and community support. Reforestation of mined lands is not just an environmental issue either, it has economic, health, and social implications. Some ecological benefits include it restores habitats for wildlife, including, as mentioned before, deer, birds, and pollinators. It improves air and water quality by filtering those pollutants and runoff, and it also mitigates climate change by sequestering carbon and regrown forests. There's also economic and recreational value. Healthy forests support tourism, hunting, and outdoor recreation industries and practices. Reclaimed land can also be used for sustainable timber production. Some public and health and safety. So the unreclaimed mines pose risks like landslides and toxic runoff, like mentioned before. Reforestation reduces erosion, preventing sediment from clogging rivers and reservoirs. Long-term sustainability. Future generations depend on responsible land management today, and some implemented solutions for reforestation and mining reclamation. So what's being done? The Ohio Department of Natural Resources and partners such as the Ohio Reforestation Initiative are leading efforts to replant native trees in Ohio on abandoned and reclaimed mine lands. And some of their key strategies include planting over thousands of acres of species like oak, hickory, and black locust are being reintroduced into those mining areas. Soil remediation, so lime and organic matter are being added to the soil to neutralize the acidity in it. Erosion control, techniques like terracing and mulching stabilize the land before planting. Community and volunteer involvement include organizations like Rural Action and local universities assist in planting efforts. So who's responsible? ODNR's, the Division of Mineral Resources Management, oversees the reclamation projects. They receive federal funding, such as like the Abandoned Mine Land Economic Revitalization Program. Those support large-scale efforts as well. And then nonprofits and universities contribute to this research and labor. So how effective is this solution? How does reforestation help this? So it helps with the biodiversity recovery. Studies show that the native tree species that are being reintroduced into the area are gradually restoring those ecosystems. Carbon sequestration, young forests that are being planted absorb CO2, combating the climate change. Erosion reduction, tree roots stabilize the soil, preventing landslides. And economic revitalization, some reclaimed lands are repurposed for parks and sustainable forestry and timber. Some success stories that are a part of all of this are the Wilds in Muskingum County. So that was a former mine turned into a conservation center. And then Wayne National Forest, which is currently ongoing reforestation and has improved a lot of wildlife populations. Here are some images of before and after reforestation efforts. So that's before, and that's after, and this is in a mining region as well as this one. This one's the before and after. So what are some limitations of this solution? It is a slow growth. It can take decades for forests to fully recover, especially their ecosystems. Invasive species, so non-native plants, sometimes outcompete newly replanted trees. Funding gaps. Not all abandoned mines have sufficient reclamation budgets. And then soil limitations. So some sites remain too degraded or too bad for immediate reforestation. So what's needed for a better solution? Increased funding for sure for long-term monitoring, stronger policies ensuring mining companies contribute to restoration as well, and community education to encourage volunteer involvement. So reflecting on what I've learned, 3 fundamental lessons this reforestation initiative teaches us about environmental restoration is ecological interdependence. So the mining reclamation process demonstrates how ecosystems function as interconnected networks. When trees are removed, we don't just lose the plants, we disrupt not only the soil microbiology that maintains the fertility, the watershed systems, and wildlife habitats that support the biodiversity in the area. Timescale of environmental healing is another one. So these projects remind us that damage can occur in years, but restoration can take decades. Some ecological processes can't be rushed, like soil regeneration, and sustainable solutions require long-term commitment beyond political or business cycles. The human role in environmental stewardship is the third one. Through this mining work and reforestation, we see that human innovation can repair environmental damage. Successful restoration blends scientific knowledge with local engagement, and every citizen has a role to play, from volunteering to informed voting. Looking forward, the reforestation of Ohio's mine land region serves as both a cautionary tale and a hopeful case study. It proves that while industrial activity can degrade environments, science-based restoration can heal them. As we face global environmental challenges, these local efforts provide valuable insights to not only the patience required for ecological restoration, the importance of adaptive management, and the power of collaborative solutions. So this work invites all of us to become students of our environment, basically, understanding that every planting decision today shapes Ohio's ecological future for generations to come in those regions. The question isn't just whether we can restore these forests, but what lessons we'll carry forward to prevent such damage in the future.